Welcome back then folks to another couple of builds today in Forza Horizon 5 again, and this time as opposed to just the speed builds I've decided to do a few more like class specific kind of vehicles, and I wanted them to both be vehicles which are readily available, readily accessible to all players. So on this occasion a B-class build, so if that sounds a bit odd, it is indeed lower than the standard class, despite the fact that this is quicker than a standard A-class. It's an A-class, if you will, except now we've made the A-class a B-class. So in B-class it is a proper weapon, 380 horses, 190 miles an hour, still has all-wheel drive, it's even quicker off the line, plus it looks better as well. So in terms of getting this particular build, it is of course already on my storefront. If I grab the tune code, that is 245048 if you just want to grab exactly what I've done. If though you do prefer to do it yourself, there's not that much to do, so we've left the standard all-wheel drive. I've opted to upgrade the visuals on the front and the back. It's got the little, extra canyons and the wing and all that kind of stuff. The biggest key difference here is drag tyres. And even though of course drag tyres make the car a little bit worse in terms of handling, because it's already a hot hatch, that makes up a lot of the difference. So it's naturally smaller, it's very grippy anyway with the four-wheel drive, it's designed to have all-wheel drive, so it counteracts the understeer a little bit better than most cars would if they just slapped on those drag tyres. As far as the tyres themselves, in terms of width, we've increased the rear. That's actually a beneficial thing to do a lot of time because it will lower your points a little bit and allow you to have more power or upgrade your brakes or something else that you might need to do with that extra bit of leeway. We have upgraded the rim size. You don't have to do that, that's just a personal preference thing. I just wanted bigger rims on it. As far as the upgrades, believe it or not, you actually can. The drag tyres take it down so low that you can put a sports cam on this thing and get it up to, as I said, 388 horses. Incidentally, still under 1,500 kilos, and as you can see, 3.5 seconds to 60 and 190 miles an hour. So in B-class, especially still retaining hot hatch handling with all-wheel drive, that is a hell of an all-round build. It's a bit of a sneaky one for sure. Oh, just on the engine section as well, I should say, the flywheel is also fitted in terms of the racing one there. As far as the brakes and suspension, all that kind of stuff, the only thing which we've gone for here is the anti-roll. So both front and rear, that is fully modified. Unfortunately, you don't quite have enough points to work with, at least with this build, to upgrade stuff like the brakes. We do have the uprated clutch, of course, help with those shift times. Likewise, we've got the sport driveline. I've gone for the racing diff, and finally for the transmission. You could opt to go for one of the other ones if you prefer it. More gears or sport, race, whatever you want to go for. They're all within the point level, but I've gone for the 6-speed racing transmission. Because again, with 380 horses, decent amount of torque, drag tyres especially, it's not like it's really lacking off the line, let's put it that way. So that's it for the build. Now if we jump into the custom section, we've got 30 psi on the tyres. For the transmission, I don't recall if I've changed the individual gears, so you'll have to see if yours look different and just copy the numbers. But the main thing is, of course, I've gone for a 3.35 final drive ratio. And then, like I said, just check on the other ones. I think I might have changed them, but I don't recall which numbers were, or I don't recall, I should say, what the numbers were in relation to how they were as standard. So double check those and change it if you need to. As far as the anti-roll, of course, or as far as the alignment, I should say, that's non-adjustable. Anti-roll, I haven't really done anything to. Springs, of course, you can. Dampers, you can. Aero doesn't apply. The brakes don't apply on this particular occasion. For the diff, I've pretty much left the individual settings as they are and just changed it a little bit to a 70% split. If you still find it a little heavy, you could adjust that, but one of the reasons why I've left it as is as well is not only because I personally like it to have that bit of weight, which is partially due to the drag tyres having so much grip, but it also means it's quite a useful car, not just for racing. But let's say, for example, you want to do seasonal playground events, for example, like Capture the Flag or Infected, that kind of stuff, where you need to launch off the line, have that instant grip. Well, you still have that with this kind of build. So that's it for the tune. Of course, now we'll take it out on the track. In fact, I'll throw it out in a race so you can see what it looks like in practice to show you just that. Now, as far as this particular car goes, like I said, the main thing that you need to know going into it is pretty simple. It's heavier through corners. It's a car that was already 1,500 kilos and has four-wheel drive to begin with, so you kind of expect that, as with any high-performance four-wheel drive car. But the fact that it's even more powerful, even quicker off the line, even better top speed, and still a lower class, well, that's just is potentially hugely useful. And even though you can get some other cars to have a similar kind of approach, like an all-wheel drive Ford Focus RS or something like that, this one is a pretty OP vehicle, I would say, in terms of its all-round ability. The top speed is way higher than most hot hatches by sometimes a good 30-40 miles an hour more, in fact, which could come in very handy. Off the line, it's properly quick. It's designed from day one to have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, so that's a huge advantage over like all-wheel drive swapping, you know, a Civic Type R that wasn't intended to have it, blah blah blah. So if you do decide to use it or just download it with the code, it is a very nice workaround to have if you do need a super hot hatch class car in B class. So have a lot of fun with it. If maybe you've got an A-class lying around and you want to do something interesting with it, you could try this out as well, and stick around later today because I'm also debuting another monster all-round build, this time for a Ford F-150 Raptor with 1700 horsepower in A-class. So yeah, another monster contender in a relatively modest point level. So stick around for that one later on. I'll see you then, and thanks for watching.